Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Screen Scene Guru coming at you with another video today. This one on entertainment and movies. So be sure to stay tuned for all the good coverage. Starting off, I do want to show off real quick a comic book that I've started reading. Got done with the Wolverine meets Conan comic book if you guys saw my previous video. This one is Marvel Comics Presents Wolverine and Ghost Rider. It's a really cool cover. Show off right here. Wild Hogs. So it's pretty dope. The cover. And then we get to see on the back, this is Sheena the She-Devil with the original Fantastic Four, and Lockjaw joins the fire department. So that's kind of interesting, but nice little tease on the back there. Fantastic Four, Lockjaw from the Inhumans, which is kind of interesting, and then Sheena the She-Devil of the jungle of Africa, which is nice on the back cover. Gotten a few pages into this. I did have to re-staple it because the back spine was kind of falling apart. And I've gotten a couple of pages in, which is pretty cool. We so far shows the Hand ninjas fighting with Wolverine and Ghost Rider, so that's pretty cool. But this video will be on a TV show I have recently caught up on reviewing. This is The Studio from Apple TV Plus. There's a Seth Rogen series. Fantastic if you guys are into cinema, into understanding how movies are made, and how the industry overall works. This is a great introduction to the world of movie making. So I started watching this show a few weeks back. I know it dropped, I believe last year. Yeah, in 2025 the series dropped, but I haven't caught it until just the last few weeks. I recently binged it. I do know they are doing a season 2. I'm wondering how long we're going to have to wait for season 2. Haven't heard any announcements about it yet, but let's get into this real quick. So it is 11 episodes long, so it's a little bit longer than your average mini series. So let's go into this episode list. Okay, so the first episode is titled The Promotion. So really awesome. We get to see sort of a light satire, a bit of a meta commentary on this film industry executive is kicked out and a new person is promoted in her replacement. They kind of make a joke about Kathleen Kennedy in this, even though they don't address her name directly. I thought it was really cool to see Catherine O'Hare in this. This is one of the last things she filmed before her tragic passing. So a big Catherine O'Hare fan. Love to see her. The promotion, Matt Rimmick is named the new head of Continental Studios. So they kind of make a joke in the show. Continental is supposed to be a big thing like Warner Brothers or like a Disney, if you will. And put in charge of production that theaters or that threatens public humiliation. So yeah, he's given this new promotion, this new job. He's wanted to do it a long time, and now he's worried because a lot of new responsibilities are thrust upon him. So it's really cool to see Seth Rogen, playing a studio head. Then we got episode 2, The Oner, the filming of an intricate sunset shot, or incarnate sunset shot becomes complicated by Matt's set visit. So this was a really funny episode. He of course wanted to be there on set to film the Oner during a sunset scene. Of course he kept on talking over the director. They kept on asking him if he needed anything. It seems like he tripped and fell over equipment. And then right at the end of the sequence, when the actress was supposed to drive out of the driveway, his car was parked in front of hers. So it's a very funny comedy that, everyday life things that happen to all of us, but shown on a big screen by Seth Rogen is always a great time. I'm a big fan of his movies, Pineapple Express. Couple others, I want to say The Neighbors. The Neighbors were great films. Let's see, episode 3, The Note. This was a really funny episode, guys. Matt feels nervous about giving legendary director Ron Howard a difficult piece of feedback after seeing his film. I thought it was really cool, too. They mentioned the actors and directors by name. We got to see Anthony Mackie in this episode. The motel sequence, where he's talking about his cousin that died. And this film was about his cousin representation. And, of course, Malik tells him this movie sucks. Your cousin would feel disappointed by this sequence. And they get into a big argument and fight. And then Ron Howard calls him later on and says, yes, I need to take that sequence out of the movie to make it a bigger picture. So that was really funny. Then we got to see episode 4, The Missing Reel. This is a really good one as well. A reel of film goes missing, sending Matt and Sal on a race against the clock to find it. So this one includes Zac Efron. They follow him throughout LA, thinking that he stole the film reel, only to find out he financed the private party to their film because the studio wouldn't put up the money to have a private party. They said the budgets were too much, so they were constricting. So it was really funny to see, who was in this one? The Missing Reel. Let me go into this real quick. Okay, so it was directed by Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen, of course. Let's see, do we have a casting list? Yes, I do believe. Okay, so Catherine Hahn's in it. Zac Efron. Okay, Olivia Wilde. Olivia Wilde played the director in The Missing Film Reel. And it turns out she's the one that stole it because she thought she could film a better sequence than what they got. So she ended up throwing the film reel down the street. Really funny story. Seth Rogen explains he had ended up selling his expensive car to Zac Efron to get the rest of the film shot. So just sacrifices in the industry that Hollywood people have to make all the time. Unexpected sacrifices. But yeah, really cool that Olivia Wilde was part of the show. And yeah, Zac Efron and a bunch of others. Each episode has a huge cast list to it. But going on, we've got, after Missing Film Reel, we've got The War, which was a really good episode. Frustrated by her position in the office, Hetry Quinn wages a war against Sal. So this was a very interesting episode. We get to see Seth Rogen's assistant, who essentially came up with him. She is a studio executive, but she hasn't gotten to make her own first great big picture yet, where Sal and Remick, Seth Rogen's character, have been able to make several reboots of classic cinema. She's struggling to make her own iconic hit in the film realm. They talk about her and Sal. Sal tries to tell her to take it easy. The first year is just about listening, and how she's really frustrated about that. We get to see a spicy sex sequence with her and her boyfriend, which I wasn't expecting at all from Apple, but they slid it in there, which was nice. And then, of course, we got to see episode 6, Pediatric Oncologist. So this was a really funny episode, too, where we could see Seth Rogen dating. Matt's ego is put to the test when his new doctor girlfriend brings him to a charity gala. And he tries to convince the doctors there that are fighting cancer that cinema is just important and that the work that he does in movies saves lives. So yeah, it was just really ridiculous. And he ends up crashing out in the episode. He has to be taken out in an ambulance. So very funny stuff. Episode 7, we got casting. This was the team scrambles to come up with a movie cast that won't offend anyone. So this is, of course, after each plot of each episode is them trying to come up with the concept of a different movie. The first episode, I believe, was the Kool-Aid movie, which they went to Martin Scorsese to direct. And then they ended up telling him we just bought the script so that it would never get made. So very funny. They make Martin Scorsese cry. Really funny. And then later on, for the casting, they end up getting Ice Cube to voice the Kool-Aid. And they went to a whole... They did a panel, a study panel with people of color and asking them, is it racist to cast Ice Cube? And they tell him, no, that the voice of Kool-Aid is a black man. So very funny. Then we got Golden Globes, episode 8. Matt tries to get Zoe Kravitz to thank him in her award acceptance speech. So this was another crazy event going on during the Golden Globes. They filmed, for the most part, a lot of real actors. Adam Scott is there, making a big crash out with Sal. So that was really funny. Adam Scott, he was in Severance on Apple TV. So he's been on Apple for a few years. He's going to be in a new horror film called Holcomb. So I'm very looking forward to that. It's about like Irish, Scottish folklore of like a trickster demon. So that looks very cool. It looks a lot like Babadook. So we'll see if this is like Babadook grown up. Holcomb. Going on to episode 9. CinemaCon. I'm so glad they covered this in the series because it's such a big, iconic thing that happens every year, guys. In April, they have one of the biggest exhibition events in Vegas, Las Vegas, usually at Caesar's Palace, where all the expositions, the theater owners, get to show off their wares of what's coming out this next upcoming year. So we're about to have our CinemaCon very soon. Looking forward to it very much. All the coverage is going to be coming out of it. I will be doing my own reporting, so be sure to check out that. CinemaCon, when Matt sets out to throw the coolest party at CinemaCon, it backfires in a psychedelic fashion. So he tries to have an old country Hollywood buffet, basically a lot of drugged food laid out for everyone to get into. And of course, Zoe Kravitz does take too much of the chocolate mushroom gummies, and she does trip very hard in her bedroom. They get the set together to give her makeup and stuff, but she's crashing out very much. The whole cast, they thought they got an eighth of an ounce, and it turns out they got like a lot more than that in mushrooms, and it was mushroom candy, so no one was measuring what they were being given. So very great party. And then episode 10, we've got the presentation. So Matt's team doesn't pull off an amazing CinemaCon presentation. The studio will be sold to a tech company, Amazon, MGM. And it's so funny because they make the joke in the series, why does Prime Amazon need to buy Continental? They just bought MGM. Aren't they satisfied enough? And it's kind of a satire joke on, this was before, of course, the infamous Paramount trying to buy Warner Brothers scandal that's currently going on. So this was set last year, but still making fun of jokes of studios basically cannibalizing each other. Going on, got episode... it looks like that was it. Episode 10 was the end, even though it says it's got 11 episodes. But yeah, it was a really good show, guys. Highly recommend you check it out if you haven't already. If you don't have Apple TV, definitely get it for that show. There's a couple other shows on there I recommend for Apple TV. There's C with Jason Momoa. It's 3 seasons. I'm about halfway through season 2 right now, which is pretty good. For All Mankind, just got renewed for a season 6. Season 5 is currently airing weekly, so there is new episodes of that. I want to say there's other things on Apple TV. Oh, Monarch. I just wrapped up Monarch season 2, so let me cover that real quick for you guys as well, because I might as well. Legacy of Monsters. So I watched the first season back when it came out. It was one of the reasons why I got Apple TV Plus. Back in 2023 was when they launched. So I've seen the whole first season. Going on into season 2. So let's go. Boop. Okay. So we've got the first episode, Cause and Effect, which came out on February 27th. So right at the end of February, guys. Monarch came back, Legacy of Monsters. Details, or decades after being presumed dead, Keiko's return shocks Monarch. Kate defies orders to save Shaw and unleashes a terrifying new Titan. So this is, of course, Titan X, they've referred to online. It is bigger than Kong and Godzilla. It's like a squid monster with multiple eyes. It has some kind of connection to, what's her name? Kate. Kate and the Titan have a connection because she released it onto this world. You find out there is a migration cycle to these kaiju. That some of them go to this. I wonder if they'll mention it. I don't know if they will, but there's another dimension, I guess, that they discovered at the end of season 1 that these kaiju come back and forth from. You saw Godzilla taking on a giant winged creature in that other dimension, Access Mundi, I believe they call it. It's not exactly inner Earth. It's another dimension that these creatures slumber in. They, I guess, go to rest in this dimension, and then they wake up and come back into Earth realm. Sort of like Mortal Kombat, but very interesting. The Access Mundi, that's where Kurt Russell's character, Shaw, was left at the end of season 1. He saved Kiko, Kate, and all of them, and he stayed behind. So season 2 opens with Kate rescuing him. They have to go to Skull Island, which is very awesome that they brought that back. At the end of season 1, Apex was on Skull Island doing nefarious work. So going on to episode 2, we've got Resonance. Okay. Lee and Keiko investigate the secretive village with a cult devoted to a mysterious creature. Kate crosses paths with a deadly stowaway. So this episode 2, season 2, pretty good. We get flashbacks of both Lee, which is Kurt Russell's character, younger in the past, with Keiko. They had a bit of a romantic past, you find out, because they did know each other before Bill Randa got involved. But Keiko was married to Bill Randa when they were essentially sleeping together. So you find out some drama was going on in the 70s. 60s? 70s? Somewhere there. And you also find out that this island worships this kaiju, this Titan X, and the scarabs come out from underneath the island. They go merge with the kaiju. Very fascinating stuff. Lee and Keiko were able to escape this cult and get back to Bill Randa. So that was really cool. Bill was charting a map of what he thought these creatures migrate towards. He eventually was right. He was just not at the right time. We've got episode 3, Secrets. Shaw, Keiko, Hiroshi, which is Kate's brother, and Kintaro go rogue in an attempt to find Titan X. Kate struggles with feelings of guilt. A burden secret is exposed. So this of course is the letter they talk about. Keiko wrote a letter to Lee explaining she can't be with him because she loves Bill. He's their husband, and they have to raise a son together. So that's the reason why after the mission that Keiko accidentally fell into Access Mundi with those bugs, Lee stopped going on adventures with Bill Randa because he had animosity about his wife and their missions together, and he kind of felt bad, responsible for Keiko disappearing. You find out that's why Shaw went through the machines in season 1. You find out Shaw was sent through Access Mundi, but he came back like a decade later, and he was kind of all screwed up, and that's why they put him in the old folks' home. It's very interesting stuff, experimental government things going on. Let's see. Trespass, it's episode 4. We've got to get Hiroshi's device back. Shaw and the team execute a daring heist at Apex Cybernetics. So this is a really fun episode, guys. Apex You get to see the inner workings of them, what their mission statement is. Besides Monarchs, Apex was trying to use codes to control the kaiju, essentially put collars on them, which is very fascinating stuff. I don't know if that's going to tie into the next movie. I'm hoping it does. Supernova. Um, then we've got episode 5. For Usato, in Santa Soledad, Titan X becomes a target for Apex, forcing Shaw and the Randas to infiltrate the covert operation. So this was a really good episode as well. Episode 5, we did get to see the team made their way to this island where the Titan X is on its warpath. It's going through this migrationary pattern. The Apex was already on the island before our Monarch team was there, and then they tried to stop a drone from launching a cybernetic uplink, but unfortunately Shaw couldn't stop the drone. It took off too fast. We did see Shaw get injured a bit, and he was limping, but I don't think they're going to kill off Kurt Russell. No way they're going to kill off Kurt Russell. And we did get the infamous death of the Randa's dad. Now, I got some opinions about this, because the season started with Kate trying to find her father, and she discovered that she had a secret brother. And the whole first season, you're like, why did the dad have 2 secret families? And in this second season, they try to explain, oh, he followed his heart, just like his mother did, and he's made mistakes, but he's a good person. They had to kill the dad off, because he was an asshole. Unfortunately, some people might debate me on this, but seriously, they could not keep the dad around. His arc was like unredeemable, so they had to kill him off. If anybody could have been killed off, it was the dad, and they did that in this episode. And it was sad. They did a little song. They sang to the dad. As Hiroshi, his son, went looking for like medical workers, they came back and his dad was already passed. So they are definitely going to have to deal with that grief in next week's episode. So I'm looking forward to that. But I'm hoping the story just gets better from here, guys. We've only got a few episodes left. I think there's 6, Requiem. They haven't given us a title for episode 7, 8, 9, 10. But just like, Apple TV, 10 episodes, pretty good. And they're all movie quality, too. So definitely check it out. But that'll be my review for the studio, Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. Definitely check it out, guys, if you haven't already heard of it. Till next time, be sure to like and subscribe. And stay tuned for more content coming down the line. Have a good one. Stay safe. And I'll catch you in another one of my videos.